Welcome to Bullman Built RC. I am Matt, your favorite YouTuber's least favorite YouTuber. This year I decided to go a little more quality versus quantity. I still bought a decent amount of stuff, but it wasn't like it used to be where there's just tons and tons of just crap. So I will go over all this stuff, and here we go. First up from my guy Metric Matt, or as most of you know him, Teleguided if you follow him on Instagram. Matt is a super cool guy that we met kind of over the internet, really, and we've become better friends with him and really good friends with him, actually, now that a couple times we've met, and now we talk pretty much every day. Anywho, he brought down some stuff to sell and brought down some stuff that he told me was for me, and then told Jordan he had some stuff for him, and he gave us bodies. So this is what I got from him. This is a early Bronco project thing that he was building, I guess, and never really finished. And then he was like, here, you can have this. And I was like, oh, cool. So Jordan and I actually saw these, and now we're planning on building super tiny tire early Broncos. So this one has a cage. It doesn't have a roof. It had, well, I guess it's got most of a cage, I guess. It's missing some down bars and stuff, but it's almost what I would consider good enough to actually have a truck. I guess this was going to be his pre-runner, so it's painted like this really cool dark blue metallic color. I like it a lot. I'm not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I've got a pretty good idea, and so I got that. On top of that, he also gave me a full cab, and this one has an opening hood and everything. Super cool. He did say that these were printed out of something, I can't remember, and that they may not hold up, so we may end up just getting the file from him and then reprinting some. But either which way, he gave me these, and it was super cool. If nothing else, I've got like a cage and some hinges and a general idea of kind of what this thing is going to be and how to build it, so that's pretty cool. So I got that one as well. This one's in like a, I don't know, 60s not white color, so I got that. This was a truck body van thing that he built for people, I guess, that live stream, that are RC people. So it's Scale Builders Guild, Harley Designs, and myself are all on this whole thing, and it's just basically a live streaming body van, and he has weathered it, and it's got like this rough like asphalt texture on the bottom. It looks like it's been doing big nasty burnouts and thrown things down the side. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but he offered it to me and pretty much said, hey, I'm going to get rid of this regardless of whether you want it or not, so would you take it? And I mean, anytime someone builds you something cool like this, or builds something that like has you on it, I mean, I was of course willing to take it. No idea what I'll do with it. Probably just kind of put it up on a shelf and just let it chill or something for now. I'm not sure, but I got that. Then coupled with that, I also got this TF2 chassis. This was the chassis that he had put under the van. The transmission and motor was in the back. This is actually the front, so he had the leaf springs moved back and everything's all moved around, and the transmission and transfer case is backwards and has a custom mount and stuff. This thing is wild, like just all types of turnaround. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this exactly yet, but he gave me a bunch of parts as well, so this is pretty much everything that I was missing. And this is my new TF2 chassis. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to kill that fly. That's all the things that I got from Metric Matt or Teleguided, and I do thoroughly appreciate it, sir. Canadians are, as you all know, really nice people, and he gave me a bunch of stuff, so that's that. Next! Now, right after I had gotten everything from Metric Matt, I'd walked around a little bit, and then I'd kind of set up a deal with my friend Jared. So Jared came over, and I knew he had a set of axles, and he said, hey, I'll trade you some merch and stuff and a little bit of cash for these axles. And I was like, 100% deal done. So I picked up these HD 44s with the blue covers. I was not looking for the blue covers, but I'm always in the market for some D44s or some HD 44s. So I picked them up. They are barely used. These sat on Facebook for a while. Not sure why they didn't sell. I'm assuming it's just, you know, the time of the year and kind of the economy and everything, where people are a little bit more reluctant to get rid of some money. So I traded him a bunch of shirts and some stickers and all sorts of stuff and a little bit of cash and picked these up. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them. So I have a rough idea. I mean, they're going to go under a truck of some sort that I have planned, but I'm not sure which one. The blue covers don't really mean a whole lot to me, so I may see if I can swap those out to someone else's, like red or something like that, or maybe trade for a different LE color. Not 100% sure what I would really want, because I'm not a huge fan of the red covers either, even though I know that's like correct, but they just kind of look a little weird sitting under stuff. So I got those. No plan for them, but when a set of HD 44s comes across for what I consider was a pretty decent price and you wanted to trade some merch for it, I couldn't say no. So got those from Jared. Thank you, sir. Next, I did a little bit of walking out where everyone camps. If you've never been, pretty much everyone camps in like a central area, and then they all have tables out, so everything is either for sale or they're showing trucks off. So when you do go So when you do go out to the camping area, you're not 100% sure what's for sale if people don't have prices on it and stuff. So you just ask, say, hey, you know, can I pick this up? Is it for sale, etc., etc. I found these. So these are K44 axles from RC 4 Drive. They were pretty decently priced, and I needed the rear for my K10. I took my K10 to Beat the Creek this year. The one trail that I got to run before it turned into an enormous monsoon and mud slop fest, I blew the rear ring and pinion out of the axle. Now, I could have just bought a rear ring and pinion. However, these were pretty cheap, and I picked up the spare front axle shafts, and I got all these parts and everything, so I'll just swap this whole thing in, and then I'll use the one that was in it as a spare. Right now it has a Yoda 2 just to keep it running and keep it rolling, but this will clearly look better. So I got those. Next, I was also roaming around and I found these. I'm not 100% sure who makes these. I know Lisu or whatever that one company is that makes RC semis parts. They make them, and maybe there's knockoffs of that, which is a crazy thing to have knockoffs of already cheap China products or whatever, but whatever. They're V-treads. They're King Kongs, and they say 43.5 by 38 by 105 in them. Not sure what that means exactly. They're roughly 4.19. This is a RC 4 Drive Trailbuster, almost the exact same height, but clearly they're much wider. I got these. I've seen a few trucks online that are running them, and I'm assuming that if you are on a trail and not doing actual rock crawling, these are probably pretty rad. And they're not so insanely tall that they're going to break a lot of stuff, because I'm assuming, once again, being a V-tread, they probably do provide quite a bit of traction. So I picked those up. They were super cheap. I think I paid like $20 for all 4 of them, and I got those. So no clue what I'm going to do with them yet, but this is one of the few things that I picked up because I was like, oh, in the future I could see myself building something that those would go on. So I got that. Next, while I was roaming around in the field, I also got this. This is a Tama YJ Wrangler, and it was what I would consider pretty cheap. I bought the whole thing with the chassis and everything underneath of it for right about what this would usually go for newer-ish for just the body shell. If you don't know, these things are getting harder and harder to find that aren't all chopped up and hacked up because of people like me that chop them up and hack them up, and Jordan as well. And this one is broken, so I won't feel nearly as bad about cutting this one up. It has a big crack right here through the bumper, and that's actually broken, and then right here is broken right under the headlight. It does have the headlights, it has the buckets, it has the front light doodads, it's got tail lights, it has the glass. This was easily way more than what I paid for it would have cost me in parts. So not 100% sure what I'll do with this. It probably won't become a buggy, although I do have little enough money in it that I would not feel bad about making this into a buggy, because I bought this as a whole complete truck, was walking towards my canopy, and I saw my friend Chris Mitten. I said, hey, what are you doing? I have something I want you to look at. And he was like, anytime, sure, whatever. And so I gave him this. I said, what will you give me for that without the body? Took the body off, gave him the chassis. He told me, and basically now I have very little money in this, and so I have it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but either fixing the front or just chopping off everything in front of the grill and then starting over is probably a possibility. It is a disgusting green color from that like late 90s, early 2000s where everyone's mom's couch was this color as well. and I don't like it because it was everywhere in my childhood, and I really am not a fan of that color. It does have the smoked windows, which kind of sucks, but I do have a clear window set somewhere, so maybe I can cut this off, use just the clear windshield, cut the windows out, stuff like that. I can have tinted windows, but we'll figure it out. We'll build something together someday, once. Got that. Next, speaking of my friend Chris Minton, he brought me a sticker sheet. This is from Proline from, God, I'd have to guess the early to mid 2000s. He knows that I am a collector of bodies and just general stuff from the era of when all the crawling really started. So I have a bunch of bodies over here against the wall, anywhere from roughly 2005. I've got some old HPI stuff to late 10s or so. So anything that was kind of made that's getting a little bit harder to find, but not too crazy, whatever. So he gave me those. I'll probably just hang them up on my wall. This actually says 2007 price list, so that's when this is from. It's not anything too insanely crazy, but it's things like this that make me appreciate some of my friends. They just give me really cool stuff, whether it's worth $1,000 or $1. Just the fact that they thought about me, I think is super cool. So I thoroughly appreciate that. And then this is the one box that is left. He brought me a, was that a 48 pack, I believe, of oatmeal cream pies. If you are a longtime watcher, you know that this used to be a staple on the channel, and so many people gave me and sent in oatmeal cream pies that we actually got kind of tired of eating them for a while and kind of burn out on OCPs. So I got some of these, which leads me to another thing I bought. There was actually more than this, but there was a little girl and her grandparents, I'm assuming, and maybe her parents. She was there, and they were doing a little small fundraiser. She actually made it to, I believe they said, the Nationals down in Florida. So they were raising money to get her down there because it seems like maybe it was a little unexpected. So I said, what do you have? And Grandma said, well, I went home and got some other stuff because we sold out of all the like Rice Krispies and things that they had already made. She goes, I have all these canned goods. Little did she know, this guy is a huge fan of canned goods. I love canned stuff. I can things. I have a garden. So I went through and bought some stuff. She had some zucchini, I believe, salsa. I've never tried that. I got a little jar of that. She has jars of apple butter. I bought 3 of these, and I do not regret that at all. One thing I found being a fat kid, I took this apple butter, which is delicious, and I took oatmeal cream pies, which are also delicious, put the apple butter on the oatmeal cream pie, and have been smashing those. Way more than my normal caloric intake and what I need, but good God, those are delicious this way. On top of that, she also had pickled corn, which I'd never had before. This stuff is freaking amazing. I've already smashed a jar of this. I bought 2 quarts of her homemade sauerkraut. Already smashed that. And then she also had pickled banana peppers. I bought 2 jars of this brine that it's in, and I think I only paid like $1 a piece for these jars. So I'm pretty sure the jars cost more money than that. I've taken the brine and put it in a jar, and now I'm pickling some asparagus with the brine. So have some of that hot, spicy pickled asparagus. Be like, mwah! Oh, it'd be so good. Can't wait. It's almost done, and I got some of that. She also had pickles. Those are also long gone. Hopefully everything gets worked out for her and it all helped. I like food. She had food, and it's going to a good cause. So I snagged it all up, took it, and now I am enjoying all of the things that I bought. So I got some canned goods at Rocktober because you never know what's going to be there. The random things like this is also stuff I pick up. Next. Post-production, Matt, something bumped my microphone and it started making a god-awful noise right after this. So I'm going to re-record all of that stuff, and this will be part 1. I'm super sorry, but I will try to get that out as fast as possible as well. But I appreciate you watching, and make sure to check me out on Facebook and Instagram and all that jazz, and join my group and become a channel member and all that stuff. So I will see you later. Love you, bye!